Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. It's the Brothers of Great Millstone Charlotte coming at you with another live lesson through the spirit, power, and mercy of Yahweh Bashim El Shai. Before we get started with this live lesson, as always, we want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim Rakakwadash. Double honors, as always, to our apostles and our elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that do rule well. Peace, blessings, and mercy to the house of David, Habayaf Dawadah, the hopeful elect. Unto you we say Shalom.
Shalom.
All right. Hey, and as we all should be privy to the things that are happening in the world, all right, we know that there has been a recent uh, invasion of Israel by the Hamas terrorist group. Okay. And this has incited a war between Israel and Hamas. Okay. And Hamas is actually a sector of the Palestinians. Okay. So what's come about of this situation is forwarding or fueling the flames of war on the planet Earth. All right. And we'll actually start with that before we get into the article. Kwanawaf, you got anything you wanted to speak on?
I did have a precept just
Okay.
to just real quick, because we're seeing all these things, as the brother mentioned, you know, the psyops that they have set forth, right? They're setting the the city on high alert, you know, when there's no indication of any threat, right? Which is preparing the minds of the people, for some sort of attack, right? Now, this is Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 10 in the NLT. It reads, "He will use every kind of evil deception to fool those on their way to destruction because they refuse to love and accept the truth that would save them." But the point,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Esau Edom is going to use every means, every type of deception possible, right? He's going to get deep in his bag of tricks, right, in order to get this new world order agenda, right? Because we see the 2030 plans that they have in the WEF, all these things, the MOTB, the infrastructure being put in place, World War III, all these things, all coincide together, man. And these are all the deceptions that they're using, to control the minds of the masses.
That's right. Um, Kwanawaf, I'll read this precept for you. You can speak on it. Um, Again, these things that are happening over in the Middle East, all right, in that region of Israel, all right, know that these things, this isn't a a direct indication of World War III, but know that these are definitely fueling the fire. Okay, all right, things have to play out in according to prophecy. We're not at that point just yet because there is a major prophecy that has to come before World War III. Okay, which is that implantable device, which we see that technology being introduced at a faster rate. So, hey, the prophecies themselves are hastening, but again, remembering the order of things, we have to understand these uh these times and seasons that we're in. As the scriptures do tell us, second Ezra the ninth chapter, to measure the time diligently within itself. But let's get this right here. Matthew chapter 24 and 3. It says, while Yahushua was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately. Tell us, they said, when will these things happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 4. Yahushua answered, see to it that no one deceive you.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we see right now. All manners and forms of deception going out, man. Right? This whole thing between Israel and Hamas is just a drop in the bucket, right?
Mhm.
Of prophecy. You
Yep.
know, though we understand that the least of the flock shall draw them out, going into Israel, pulling America into World War III, right? Hamas isn't going to be, the the catalyst right now, man, right?
Yep.
This whole thing, as brothers have been going into, is the theater of war, right? And what they're doing right now. as it looks, is that they're trying to get the blame uh, shifted away from them, right? So they can get sympathy, from the world, man.
Yep. And Salakia, I had a different version. Um, let me
Okay,
uh,
okay.
let me pull this back. I'll reread it in the KJV. Matthew 24:3, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
Hmm.
And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. Verse 5, For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many.
Right. So they're saying, they're the savior, right? We understand that, Esau Edom is setting himself up, as the Most High, right? They're presenting themselves as the key to salvation, right?
Yep.
And this is what all these things are leading towards, right? So this is something that you have to be what's the word? You know, very very aware of, you know.
Right. To add to that point, right, of awareness, right? This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, Sirach chapter 5, verse 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. Okay.
Mhm.
So again, feeding off of the brother's point that he just made mention of, you got to be mindful, right? You have to be attentive to what's going on, because a lot of these people that are out here that are just going with the status quo, they're behind, you know, uh, what's happening over in Israel. They're favoring Israel, right?
Right.
Having no understanding of global affairs and more importantly, prophecy.
That's right.
Back in Matthew 24 and verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Right. So all these things that we're seeing, must come to pass, but the end is not yet, man. Right.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the end all be all, of prophecy, right?
Right.
Whatever's going on with Israel and Hamas, which looks like it is a psyop in the making, right? Which is leading up to other things in prophecy, right? All these things just lead to, the ultimate end, being World War III, you know,
Yep.
So until we really see America get dragged into this thing, we continue to watch these prophecies unfold, man.
Con. Continuing on, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and
Mhm.
kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places.
And that's what we're seeing, man. Right? Nation against nation, right? Israel, Hamas, Russia, Ukraine, you know, uh, whatever other nations, we got Africa down there, uh, them feuding amongst themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are all these wars and rumors of wars, right? Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, right?
Yep.
Famines. We see the engineered famines, right? The plagues and pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places. All these things are taking place right before our eyes.
Con. Verse 8, the point. All these are the beginning of sorrows.
The beginning of sorrows, man, the tip of the iceberg, right?
Yep.
This is just the beginning. There's a lot more to come,
Mm-hmm.
right? And once we see, as the economy starts to crash, right, we see the mindsets of the people start to degenerate. We see Jacob's trouble start to take hold, right? We see World War III, kicking off, right? That's when we'll know, that we're in the thick of it, man, right?
Right. Yep. I got a precept to add along to that eighth verse. Right. Second Ezra 16 and 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings,
Mhm.
the beginning of famine and great death. And we think about what's happening, right? You had back in the start of 2023, the let me see here. I'll pull up the article just to prove point. Let me see. food crisis, food insecurity. I believe it was the WHO organization that made mention of this food insecurity. Let me see here. I don't want to take too much time away from the lesson. I'll put it in the description so you brothers and sisters can review that for yourselves. But we think about the beginning of famine. We're starting to see famine increase across the world, right? Great death. We're starting to see more and more people die, right? And it's also attributed to that little juice packet that everybody decided to go down and take as well, right? But ultimately, we know it's by all in all design, judgment from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? It says the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Okay, and that's the question we pose to our people. All right, you see, things aren't getting better, right? As the brother Kwanawaf always says, things are going to get worse before they get worse. Okay, there's not going to be a time where people could say, okay, we're starting to head in the right direction. The right direction for time to follow is under the pretense of what was already written aforetime to come to pass, which is prophecy. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're living out, baby. We're living through prophecy. Can't avoid it, can't shake it, can't dodge it. Don't matter what you say, think, or do. The prophecies will come to pass because it's the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Verse 19. You was going to say something?
Oh, no, go.
Verse 19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Okay. And this is what we see: famine, plagues, tribulation, anguish, wars, evils, pestilence, death, destruction, famines. This is the stage that's being set right now. All right, as we enter in to the end of this world. All right, and what we see on the screen right here, right, which we're going to discuss further, is again fueling that fire, right, to incite potential psyops, okay, as a result of this invasion. All right, to further the enactment of controlling the censorship, right, the access to the internet to be able to receive reliable sources of information. All right, because there's certain buzzwords that are used in this article that we're going to address.
Okay.
Oh, also, may I get this one precept before we dive into the article?
Go.
You can speak on this, bro. Matthew 5:18, red letter Yahweh Shai. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled.
Mm-hmm. So what we're seeing right now, is everything that's written in the book, taking place, man. All prophecy has to take place in its designed order, by the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. There's no man who can who can offset prophecy. Esau can't offset prophecy. And we can't, hasten prophecy beyond the time that it's already appointed, man.
Yep.
So we have to, continue to watch these things play out. But in doing so, we watch, and we discern these things through the Spirit and disseminate that message unto you believers, man.
That's right. Yep. Let's get into this article right here. This is from patch.com, posted today, October 10th, 2023. It says, NYC on high alert as Israel violence grows, warned Mayor Eric Adam. Okay. Lone wolves are real, warned Eric Adam Tuesday, though officials noted there have been no threats. Okay. So just as the brother Kwanawaf had said from the top of the lesson, right? These devils, they're preparing the minds of the people for these potential psyops as a result of this invasion, all right, this war between Israelis and the Hamas extremists, all right. Now, diving further into the article, it says NYC is on high alert for potential attacks inspired by amid the bloody violence engulfing Israel, said Mayor Eric Adams, even as NYPD officials reported no threats directed at the city so far. Adams warned New Yorkers Tuesday not to underestimate the potential that so-called lone wolf terrorists who have been radicalized online could strike. Okay. And that was the buzzword that stuck out in this whole article, right? Terrorists who have been radicalized online could strike. Okay. There is a potential that they could utilize this incident to incite reason to further their censorship of the World Wide Web. Okay. Because of the fact that terrorists are being radicalized through these mediums that are uncontrollable. All right. Or seen as uncontrollable. Right. You have something you want to say?
I was just gonna get this word real quick.
Con.
For psyop, it reads, according to the Free Dictionary, psyops are military operations aimed at influencing the enemy's state of mind through non-combative means, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're seeing right now, right? It says such as distributing of leaflets, but the distribution now is through articles like this, man, right? Through people who are pushing information through various social media platforms, right? Whatever news media you see, right? This is them distributing that information to influence the minds of the people, right? As we
Yep.
mentioned, preparing the minds of the people for some coming attack or some coming event, whether it be through Hamas or some other entity, right? They're getting the people, riled up, they're getting them in that combative spirit, man.
Right. Yeah. And the enemy, right, of these people, these leaders, is you so-called Babylonians, man. All right. The enemy, these people, they rule the government. They don't look at you, you Babylonians, as people that they should be working in favor of, right? As you see with all of their various policies and agendas, they really work against you, man. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same exact way with these psyops, as the brother brought out that definition to water for that. All right. Now, shifting gears from that, right? Let's see a take from a Amalekite. Let's see how they're trying to propagate this, all right, to play on the minds of the goyim, right? These simple-minded ass sheep out here. This is from American Press, posted today, October 10th, 2023. Local rabbi ambush on Israel, worse than Holocaust. So when you put that buzzword, holocaust, okay, out there, it pretty much incites a vibration of what? Genocide, right? Hate, and anybody that is to speak against this in favor of someone thinking logical or with reason, you're automatically going to be seen at opposition to the people that are quote unquote being oppressed, right? And this is what Esau does. Esau plays the role of the victim and the villain. All right. You got something to say? If not, I was going to go into this article a little bit.
I was just gonna land back off what you were saying. He plays both victim and villain, man. Right? It's the only man who was set up in how I want to say this, a false attack, on his own people, in order to forward his plans, man. Right? He's willing to sacrifice hundreds or thousands of lives, right, in order to forward their ultimate agendas, man. And that's what through the spirit we see happening right now, man. These things don't just happen by happenstance, man. The so-called most technologically savvy military in the world doesn't just get ambushed, out of nowhere, you
Right.
know. So all these things, were set up, in order to, breed sympathy, right? Get that empathy from the people, because that's what these devils need, man. This is what they feed off of, right? Because they don't want the world to look at them as they are, as the devil that the Bible speaks of, right? They want to see have some type of sympathy coming from the people.
That's right. Continuing on in that article, it says Weinstein said the Hamas organization is a terrorist group of the worst kind, and they are trying to obliterate Israel to destroy the Jewish homeland. All right. And rightfully so. This what we're seeing here isn't a testament to the fact that these people that inhabit the land of Israel today are not the true descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You see, with this incident, all right, yes, there are potential psyops that are coming forward, but in turn, it's being shown and made manifest that look, Israel is not the people that say that they are. All right, as we go into all the time, the Balfour Declaration, right? The establishment of the Israeli state. All right. This is just further proving the point that look, these people that say that they inhabit the land are not really there. Brother, could you grab Jeremiah 30 and 10? These people that inhabit the land, they're not really the descendants of Israel, man.
God.
Because the true kingdom of Israel cannot be obliterated. When we get back into our homeland, there's not going to be any war. Nobody is going to touch us.
That's right. This is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 10. It reads, "Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid."
Right. Jacob shall be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. To me, it looks like these quote unquote Israeli, these small hatters, are quite fearful for their lives and well-being. Why is that? Right? Because they're not the true descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They're not the true biblical Israelites. You so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are. Okay. Right. And when the establishment of our kingdom on the earth is made manifest, then we will see the true stature of a peaceful kingdom. But right now, that's not going to happen under the watch of these fucking small hats, these imposters. All right. Okay. Continuing on in the article, it says the attack have been brutal as evidence in the media, children, elderly men, and women. On one online site, right, they're constantly targeting the online media, right? On one online site, he saw infants in cages, but the image has been taken down. And there's also been discussions, as you brothers may have seen and you few sisters may have seen, of the fact that there's a ongoing call for X, which was formerly Twitter, to take down these images and these graphic videos that show people dead, that show all types of things that are quote unquote forwarding hate. All right. Continuing on, he likened the attack on Israel as evoking feelings similar to 9/11 attacks in the U.S. Israel is the only democratic country in the Middle East where citizenship is available to people from all countries. It's inhumane, not greed for land and power, but outright hatred, a brutal rejection of the right of the Israel people to have a sovereign homeland. Well, shit, we could say the same thing to you, nigga. Right? You small hats have no right to have any footing in our sovereign homeland. All right, which you have desecrated by setting up shop there, man. All right, and now we're in a time where you're being made manifest, all right, and shown to be that vagabond, that fugitive in the earth, to be the biblical Edomites, all right, to be the biblical Amalekites, and not the children of the Lord. So what do? You play the victim and you create various psyops to try and play on the mind saying, oh, this is evoking feelings of 9/11. Online sites are showing infants in cages. It's inhumane, right? But as me and the brother were talking about before we started the lesson, these are the same people that's been fucking up Palestine for the past couple of years. Where was the morality in that?
Right. The Hamas might come through and kill a couple hundred people, but you know the Israel Defense Force, I think that's what they call them. They'll come through and carpet bomb the whole city, man. Right. So it's like those things don't measure up. They don't add up to equal responses, man. Right? So we see Israel's been the aggressor against these people for decades, man. So this isn't an unwarranted attack, right? Now, this isn't something that we're mourning the loss of these Amalekites, man. You know,
Mm-hmm. That's right. He goes on to say, in my opinion, it is as bad or worse than the Holocaust. And I have studied the Holocaust most of my life. Again, inciting buzzwords to play on the minds of the people. In terms of eschatology, which is, which is end time doctrine, each and every day could, God forbid, be the end of Israel. Okay? So again, based on the precept that the brother just brought out in Jeremiah, right? You wouldn't have any concern of your kingdom if you were God's chosen people, man. You don't fit the prophecies, Amalek. And now it's being made manifest in these days that you aren't who you say you are. You have something, brother?
God, just land back up what you were saying. This is Micah chapter 4 and verse 3. And he shall judge among many people and rebuke strong nations afar off. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Right. So going into how these weapons of war will be turned into weapons for agriculture. Right. Once Israel gets established, underneath Yahushua. Right.
Yep.
It says, "Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." So if the real people were in that land, you wouldn't hear Israel declares war on Hamas, man. Right? That wouldn't
Yep.
even be a thought. There would be no more war, man. War wouldn't exist if the true heirs to that land, were in the lands, man.
Yep. I got a precept for you right here, bro. Revelations chapter 2 and 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
God. Now, in that context, it was speaking on, the wicked Jews back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we can apply it to Amalek, man, because they claim our heritage as their own, right? But they are are far from it, man. You know, they don't practice the customs, according to the scriptures, man. And even if they could, keep the covenants, right? It's not for them to keep. That's why we see the land is destroyed the way it is. That's why the land isn't as fruitful as it should be because the wrong people are in, are in the world or in the lands right now, man. Right? That's why it's a welfare state. Where they have to bring in various tropical plants and uh, give them billions of dollars of aid because they have nothing to produce of their own. Because they were ultimately planted there via that Balfour Declaration, man.
Yep. Let me see here. Could you hold Amos 8 and 11? Okay. Because again, going back to this article here, man. All right. We're gonna start to see more and more desires for censorship. Okay.
Mm-hmm. This is the book of Amos, chapter 8, and verse 11. It reads, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord."
Mm-hmm. Speak on it.
To that famine of the word, right? All these censorship things that you see going forth, right? Them cutting out the freedom of speech off of the internet is all leading up to that famine of the word, man. Right? Scriptures talk about a man shall be an offender for a word, right? Because that persecution is going to be tied to the things that we speak, and it's going to come a time where we can't speak of the scriptures, right? Those Amalekites have already uh, attempted to put into law where you can't even read out of the Bible in public anymore, man. Right? So we're seeing all these things come to pass, leading to that famine of the word. And there's going to be a dearth of wisdom in the land, which is going to lead to total chaos, man.
Yep.
You know, keep going on that.
Yeah, you keep going.
It's Amos 8 and 12. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it.
Right. And they won't find it because the prophets at that point in time are going to be hid. All right. As you see, they're inciting these buzzwords as pretty much deeming anybody that um, has sought out information on the on the internet to be radicalized. All right.
Mm,
And when we see these buzzwords, we have to be circumspect and know that they also think of us when these topics are brought up, man. All right. Speaking out against the status quo of the Edomite hegemony with fervency, man. All right.
right.
And we're not gonna find these prophets because ultimately, first and foremost, as always, is predicated by the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Now let me grab that right quick, just to add to that point. Ezekiel, and could you hold Isaiah 24 and verse 11?
Okay.
This is Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 27. Matter of fact, I'll start at verse 26. And I will make thy tongue cleave to the roof of thy mouth, that thou shalt be dumb and shalt not be to them a reprover. Okay, because that time of being reproved is happening right now. All right. Pursuant to Isaiah the 58th chapter in the first verse, right?
Mm,
We're to go out and blow our lift up our voice as a trumpet, all right, to show our people their sins and transgressions so that they can do what? Repent and take heed to this gospel. But
that's right.
Jake don't want to do that. They want to be stubborn. They want to be on CPT time, wait to the last minute. But that at that time, this wisdom is going to get pulled off the street, man. Right? Verse
Mm,
27, but when I speak with thee, I will open thy mouth, and thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of power, he that heareth, let him hear, and he that forbeareth, let him forbear, for they are a rebellious house. Okay? So at the end of the day, right, if you don't take heed to this word now, don't expect to see it later down the line when you got tanks rolling down the street. You got this devil, passing out the charagma, right? Stripping the access of the word and demonizing those that speak of it. Okay. Because as it said, all right, in Sirach 5 and 15, right? We're not to be ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. It wouldn't be smart to be out here in fringes on the street corner prophesying with a fucking Abram tank rolling down the street.
right.
Okay. You get that, Isaiah?
God. This is Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 11. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone.
Mm-hmm. Right. There is a crying for wine in the streets, right? That wisdom. People are going to be crying for it. People are going to be, they're going to be seeking after it because at that time, that's going to be the only thing that can keep you sane, man. All right.
Mm,
When all the antics and the games and the bullshit is done, right? There's not going to be anything of value but this word, right? You had that song by Gil Scott Heron, right? The revolution shall be televised. At the end, it was like niggas just want to party and bullshit and party and bullshit. All right. And he said some niggas might even die. All right.
mm,
And that's because Jake's simplicity. They didn't take heed to this word when it was made accessible to you. Okay. So at that
yeah,
time, when your fucking stomach is touching your back ribs, all right, and the Lord is intentionally not providing for you, all right, you're going to be wishing that you had the protection of the Lord, but it's not going to be provided to you.
that's it. I want to grab this real quick since I quoted it.
God.
This is Isaiah 29 and starting verse 20. It reads, for the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. And this is what we're saying, right? Through the censorship laws that they're, ultimately going to pass, right? And the censorship that you're seeing being promoted, right? Which they hide under the guise of anti-Semitism, right? They put all these censorship things in place, as a snare, right? So the people who speak against these Amalekites, right, or speak contrary to the what's the word? This agenda that they're pushing forward, right? If you have a
Yep.
contrary opinion or a dissenting opinion, right, they're going to silence you, man. And these scriptures are contrary to this whole world, man. They're contrary to this Edomite hegemony. So their ultimate goal is to get the scriptures completely out of the minds of the people.
That's right. And I also wanted to did you have more on that?
And that was it. That was it.
Okay, Con. That's pretty much the lesson right there. But I also wanted to touch on this that was worth noting. The beloved brother priest Amawan had shared this on his YouTube. And if you're not subscribed to the brother, definitely subscribe to the brother GMS Shining Light, GMS Shining Light Ba. But it references an article that was posted back in 2021 that said, not many people are aware of the fact that it was Israel which had helped the creation of Hamas as a counter to the Palestinian Liberation Organization during the 1980s. So just like as with America creating who? Al Qaeda, right? Weaponizing them as a means to come against America and create a psyops to give way to an invasion. We see happening now Israel invading the land or the region of the Gaza Strip, all right, under the pretense of the Hamas, which these niggas made.
Right, right.
So, that was just some information that I wanted to share up in there. But, Quanawal, do you have anything else?
Um, that was pretty much it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Hey, well, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson through the spirit, power, and mercy of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Close out giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors, as always, to our apostles and our elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that do rule well. Peace, blessings, and mercy to the house of David, Habayafta Wadah, the hopeful elect. Unto you we say Shalom.
Shalom.